Marriage became rocky, and it became rocky because of initially was because of the usual things women accuse men of, which is of cheating and having other relationships outside. And just like many other women, you sneak into your husband's phone to check when you are suspicious. And I became suspicious because
kindly tell us you are married. Leave mine alone. Specifically what happened between you and Minika.
Thank you. So I became suspicious of his moves and movements because he would come home late and he doesn't want to give me my conjugal rights. And sometimes he would come quarreling. So I then started seeing a difference in the way he was behaving. And therefore that prompted me to start thinking that there was something in the air. There was a third party in our relationship. So we talked about it, and he denied having such affairs. And I speaked into his phone, found information or documents or evidence to show that he was moving out. One of them was a woman who had sent him a pornographic video, images of women and those kind of things, half naked. And we talked about them. He called up his friends, first initially a friend called Kamui, and later Rufus Militi together with Kamui. We had our meetings, we discussed about the same, and he promised to change. Soon after that, he left for a trip to the US, I think it was the US. And while he was away on that trip, that is when I made new other discoveries that Linturi had taken titles that did not belong to him and went and charged them in his company to gain monies. When he came back, we talked about it when he was away. When he came back, we had a discussion, and he did not want us to engage in this discussion. So what he did is he ran away to Meru and went and lived in Meru.
Can you repeat that? When you went to US, we discovered that?
Discovered that he had taken properties or titles of properties that did not belong to him and charged them with a bank.
They
belonged to my relatives.
Yes.
So when we wanted to discuss this matter, when I brought up the matter for discussion, he ran away, went to stay in Meru, and he started operating from Meru. So I'm in Nairobi with his children, my children, and he now lives in Meru. He has parliament to attend, but he will attend that parliament from Meru. He'll come and go back to Meru or sleep around town, because there are times I know he has slept in town, but not at home. And this went on from around April to around July of 2018. And around July of 2018, I felt I should now involve our parents. So I called up my mother and my father-in-law and my mother-in-law to come to Nairobi. So they came and we had a discussion about our relationship. I told them about the things Mika had been doing and that he had actually run away and stayed in Meru. And after discussing with them, they felt that I should not, we cannot have this discussion just by ourselves, them and myself. They need him to be involved in these discussions. So he was contacted, and when he was contacted, he was not in Meru, he had gone to Rwanda, because there was elections in Rwanda then, so he was an observer, so he said. So he was called by my father-in-law, and he gave a date over Sunday. I can't remember the date, but I remember the date, it was a Sunday, that he would come and we try and resolve these issues. So my mother also felt she can't do this alone. She needed my uncles, who are my parents basically, because as I mentioned earlier, one of my uncles is a father figure, so she needed my uncles to come through for that meeting. So we all agreed to be on a Sunday, and on that Sunday, because most of these people are traveling from outside Nairobi. My parents and my uncles were traveling from Kericho and Nandi, and his parents had gone back home, so they were coming back from Kericho. So they came the Saturday before the Sunday. My brother-in-law was getting married in Linturi. So they had come a day earlier, went for the wedding, and after the wedding, they came home. My other relatives arrived home the Saturday, and on Sunday morning, we had our meeting. So the one thing before the meeting started, this Linturi told the crowd that he only had 3 hours to sit and discuss anything that needed to be tabled against him, because after that he was going to do his senatorial duties in Meru. So remember, he's the one who had suggested the Sunday, but now he's giving a condition of 3 hours. For me, I wondered whether 3 hours would really be enough, considering that he had not been home since April. This is end of July, August, and he's only given us 3 hours. However, we complied, and our meeting started. And the meeting mainly focused on those particular properties that had been charged to the bank. The properties were purportedly signed by now the owners, who are my brother, my mother, my son, and those particular people had never signed those particular documents. So when the discussion came up, Linturi told my mother that he would get his title, she would get her titles out by the Tuesday, the following week. So, of course, the Tuesday reached, and to date, those titles have still not been gotten, still have been charged in the bank. But however, the discussion did not yield much, and it was agreed that we would have a further meeting between myself and Linturi, together with a few of our friends who were then directors of the company that we're talking about, which charged the properties, with a view to resolving this matter. So the meeting was then to happen the following week. He was coming back to Nairobi on Monday, so we were to still have the same meeting on Tuesday.